I would never want anyone to mention anything about my family, so I'd never do it about anyone else. It's not what we do. We're fighters.
2 minutes later.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his ma. You know what I mean?
Okay, strong statement.
Just going back and forth on Twitter.
They're on the same level, they can do that, so. Trash cans.
So here's what's happening right now in MMA, and it's getting absolutely wild. The feud between Paddy Pimblett and Dan Hooker has blown up into this massive social media war that's got everyone in the combat sports world picking sides. It all started when Paddy made what he probably thought was just another throwaway comment, but Hooker came back with such a harsh response that everything just escalated beyond belief. Now we've got Arman Tsarukyan jumping into the mix, which makes this whole mess even more complicated. The craziest part is how Paddy crossed a major line during a recent interview when he decided to go after Hooker's ground game. What should have been standard fight promotion, trash talk, turned into something way more serious when his words went too far. That one moment created this huge backlash that completely changed the tone of everything between these two fighters.
And a lot of people are saying, like, Justin Gaethje, he's older than that lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his ma.
Dan Hooker wasn't having any of it and fired back with serious anger once he heard what Paddy had said about him. His response made it clear this wasn't just some playful back and forth anymore. This had become deeply personal. Hooker came straight out and said it's on site, calling Paddy names that showed just how heated this had gotten. What really got fans talking though was how hypocritical Paddy looked in all this. During that same interview where he went after Hooker, Paddy had actually refused to comment on Ilia Topuria's family situation, saying he doesn't cross those kinds of lines. He made this whole point about keeping family out of fights and staying respectful about personal matters, which made his comments about Hooker look even worse. The contrast was pretty stark between how he handled Topuria versus what he said about Hooker.
Never want anyone to mention anything about my family, so I'd never do it about anyone else. It's not what we do. We're fighters. We say what we want about each other. Say anything about me, I'll say anything about him. But don't mention families, you know, that's below the belt. And I wish him nothing but the best with it, lad. I hope it all gets resolved. I hope it all gets resolved and he gets to see his child, lad. That's the main thing. But for now, I'm fighting for the world title. He's sitting on the sideline, so when I win this belt, I'm the champ. Don't care if it says interim on it. When I win this belt, I'm the champ, and if he's not back by June, July, he best have to vacate or get stripped, and I am the champ.
Things got even uglier from there. Hooker doubled down and got even more aggressive, calling Paddy out for being fake and two-faced. He said he thought they were cool when they saw each other in person, but now felt completely betrayed by what Paddy said publicly. The really disturbing part was when Hooker brought up Ricky in his message, someone who was close to Paddy and tragically died by suicide in 2022. Most people felt this was completely inappropriate and crossed every possible line. Hooker said he thought they were friends, but questioned whether Paddy was actually a good mate, then mentioned Ricky's death. Paddy immediately fired back and called out what he saw as a massive overreaction. He pointed out that Hooker had taken a simple joke about grappling and blown it completely out of proportion, then inexcusably brought up his friend who had committed suicide. Paddy made it clear this was the lowest possible move, while also continuing to throw shots at Hooker's fighting abilities. He said they couldn't be friends because he was ranked higher, and that Hooker had responded to a hypothetical grappling joke by talking trash about his dead friend. Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan seemed to completely dismiss this whole online beef between Paddy and Hooker. He acted like neither of them were operating at an elite level and downplayed the entire situation as meaningless noise between two fighters he sees as equals rather than serious championship contenders.
There's a little conflict going around with Dan Hooker and Paddy Pimblett. I was wondering if you were able to, see it or what you thought about it.
I didn't see what they're doing.
Just going back and forth on Twitter.
They're on the same level, they can do that, so. Trash cans.
Now Arman Tsarukyan has turned his focus to questioning Paddy Pimblett's ground game and whether he's actually as dangerous as people think once fights hit the mat. Tsarukyan is openly dismissing Paddy's reputation in grappling, pointing out that he doesn't consistently face elite competition when it comes to ground exchanges. He's suggesting that this lack of high-level grappling challenges leaves serious questions about how good Paddy really is on the ground. Tsarukyan even hints that recent footage and gym stories only reinforces doubts about whether Paddy's ground game would hold up against truly skilled grapplers.
I just want to say he has no grappling. He trains with blue guys. He never compete even the high level. He never compete in jiu-jitsu or grappling. I saw him. He had a fight, grappling fight, and he tapped or he lost. So he's a trash can in the grappling and the wrestling.
Paddy Pimblett wasn't about to let that slide and quickly fired back at Arman Tsarukyan with his own shots about grappling credibility. Paddy started mocking Arman's ground game and questioning how dominant he really is on the mat. He downplayed any success Arman might have had in grappling competitions outside of MMA, contrasted it with his own focused background. Paddy made it clear his entire career focus is on fighting in the octagon, not what he calls side competitions or extracurricular grappling events. The exchange got hostile as Paddy framed Arman's participation in these outside grappling events as unnecessary risks that could lead to injuries outside their main sport, using it to fuel their already heated rivalry.
He's been grappling a lot. I know you don't want to talk about him, but how do you feel about his, his grappling tournaments that he's
Lad,
been
I
at?
heard he nearly got triangled by a what's his name?
Shara Magomedov.
Yeah, he nearly got triangled by him, and he can't grapple to save his life either.
It's a tough
He's a
one.
striker, and he nearly got triangled by him. Know what I mean?
Yeah. Have you ever got any interest of taking those sort of exhibition type things? You know, RAF have got this kind of like grappling thing. Is there ever been like a reach out for like a let's do a grappling match for Pimblett, or is that?
I don't know. Before I was in the UFC years ago, when I was coming back from an injury, I done Polaris one time against Stevie Ray. He caught me in a leg lock. That's like the only one I've done in the past 10 years or something like that. I used to do grappling competitions all the time when I was younger and stuff like that, but obviously I'm focused on fighting now. I don't, like, he can go off and do all these other things if he wants, lad, but hopefully he takes his neck doing them.
Here's something interesting about Arman Tsarukyan though. Earlier, he had wanted to stay ready as the backup fighter for the Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje fight, but now he's saying he won't put himself through a brutal weight cut without a definite purpose. Even though there was all this talk about him being the obvious backup option, the UFC never actually reached out to him with an official offer. Without that direct call from the promotion, he doesn't see any reason to drain his body through the stress of cutting weight just for speculation. From Tsarukyan's perspective, going through a weight cut is exhausting and taxing, and after doing it once before with nothing coming from it, he's focused on protecting his energy and body. He won't put himself through that again unless there's a serious confirmed opportunity officially presented to him.
I know you've mentioned wanting to be the backup fighter. Have you had any talks with the UFC about actually officially having that position? Because I think you're really the only guy who could be the backup fighter right now.
No, I didn't talk to them, and I wouldn't cut my weight just for money because it's hard. It's hard, but if they ask me, I'll do that. But they didn't ask, so that's why it's better for me not to cut weight and you know, yeah. Just if I cut, I wanna fight.
For sure, it's I mean, cutting weight is so hard.
I already cut in June, you know, and nothing happened. And just I spent, you know, my energy for the training camp for the weight cut. It's always stress when you cut your weight, you know.
But Paddy Pimblett isn't letting Arman off the hook and places the blame squarely on him for the situation he's in. Paddy called out Arman's infamous weigh-in antics and his tendency for last-minute fight pullouts. Pimblett made it clear that in his view, those actions have disqualified Tsarukyan from any legitimate claim to a title shot. He implied that reliability and professionalism are just as important as cage performance when it comes to earning championship opportunities, and Tsarukyan has fallen short in that regard.
He is. So what about this fucking Arman fella, dude? What are we saying, this posh cunt?
Fuck him. Simple as, lad. I'm getting sick of getting asked about him and people talking about him. Oh, he should be in this interim title fight. He shouldn't fucking headbutt people at weigh-ins then, should he, lad? And punch fans on us when he's walking out, lad, and pull out a title fight the night before. So as far as I'm concerned, lad, he can eat shit, lad, and fucking, as Dana said, he can get back to the drawing board.
Nice. Get that one out of the way early on Arman Tsarukyan. He could have been in the mix for this fight, but I just feel like there's a lot of ulterior factors that people aren't considering other than just his recent win over Dan Hooker. I know he's a top contender, but there's a whole lot that he's done wrong before, and this is the big Paramount debut.
And lad, people are saying like Justin Gaethje, he's older than that, lad. He's 2 years older than Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's like 2 years younger than him.
That's true.
Dan Hooker couldn't grapple a fucking rapist off his ma.
Dana White himself has confirmed that Arman Tsarukyan's controversial headbutting incident with Dan Hooker at the weigh-in significantly affected his career opportunities. White explicitly stated that the incident played a real factor in Tsarukyan missing out on a UFC title shot, highlighting how actions outside the octagon can have serious consequences for a fighter's professional trajectory. This serves as a reminder that the UFC holds athletes accountable for their conduct beyond just fight night, emphasizing the importance of maintaining professionalism at all times.
I obviously am not one of these fans, but some fans thought Arman should have been the one to get a 155 title pound shot.
We knew that would happen too.
Of course. Did the headbutt play any factor in the decision to not go with him? It did, right?
A lot of things have factored in, you know.
Let's dig deeper into Arman Tsarukyan's story. He's finally opened up about the real reason he had to pull out of the UFC 311 fight against Islam Makhachev, revealing it was due to a debilitating hernia. This is significant information that explains the controversial withdrawal. Despite having a legitimate medical reason for missing the bout, Tsarukyan unfortunately faced intense backlash and criticism from fans and media. He continues dealing with the consequences of that difficult decision, showing how even a single withdrawal, regardless of justification, can cast a long shadow and leave a lasting impression on a fighter's career. It demonstrates the unforgiving nature of this business.
Remember, I think it was in LA, you were gonna fight Islam, you messed up your back. What's the recovery been, you know, for, you know, and like what happened? How did you get injured in your back before the fight versus Islam?
So I did the MRI after the fight, and it shows like, I don't know how to explain in English, but I have a gryzha, bro.
Translate? Let's see. Hernia.
So I have that thing.
Okay.
And I may need surgery, I may not. So we'll see if it's gonna bother me again. I gotta do surgery.
Gotta remove the hernia.
Yeah, remove it.
Gotcha.
So,
it was pretty painful?
Yeah, my back was stuck, you know, I couldn't move.
Man.
And then in 2-3 weeks I started like.
The drama continues for Arman Tsarukyan as he found himself in a heated clash with an MMA analyst over Ilia Topuria's potential chances against Islam Makhachev. The analyst suggested that while Topuria might compete effectively at 55 pounds, he wouldn't be able to hang at 170. Tsarukyan shot back sharply, dismissing the comment with intensity. He made it clear he doesn't believe the analyst possesses enough knowledge about the sport's complexities to make such a definitive call, hinting that the expert was out of his depth. This exchange highlighted Arman's confidence in his own insights and willingness to challenge perceived authorities in the MMA world.
Topuria and Islam, Topuria has no chance. Whatever. Do you think Topuria can beat Islam?
Yeah.
Bro, you
No, at 170,
MMA,
no.
bro.
At 170, no. At 155,
bro, why
yes.
You like working in the interview, guy. You know shit about MMA.
I do. There's no way Ilia Topuria can't.
What's good, bro?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, 165.
No, it's 170 as well.
Bro, Islam fighting 170. He's not 155 fighter.
Yeah, that's why I said at 170 I don't think so, but it's close. But at 155 I think Ilia can beat Makhachev. Yeah, very good. No.
He has just boxing. That's it.
He has grappling too.
Where?
He submitted Bryce Mitchell.
Shifting to a different prediction, Michael Bisping has made a bold claim, forecasting that Ilia Topuria will hold his title and reign supreme through 2026. He confidently states that no one currently in the division can unseat him yet. Bisping acknowledges that Arman Tsarukyan is indeed a dangerous dark horse lurking in the background who could shake things up. However, he doesn't foresee a matchup between these two happening soon, suggesting the timing isn't right. This leaves Topuria's reign largely uncontested and secure for the foreseeable future, creating a clear path for him to solidify his legacy without immediate threats.
At 155 pounds,
I don't see anyone beating Ilia Topuria. I just don't. Not Paddy, not Justin. Yeah, all right, there's Arman Tsarukyan out there, and he's the dark horse. Obviously, Paddy and Justin are fighting for the interim title. That's an interesting fight because Justin, better boxer, better wrestling, never uses the wrestling. Even if he did use the wrestling, you wouldn't really want to take Paddy Pimblett down. Paddy's a lot younger, a lot less miles on the clock, a lot less wear and tear. I'm kind of early leaning towards Paddy Pimblett in that fight. But who's the undisputed champ at the end of 2026? So yeah, 2026, Topuria will still be the champ. Yeah, there's Arman Tsarukyan out there, but I don't think that fight will materialize.
Let's talk about Trevor Whitman's strategic insights regarding Justin Gaethje's preparation. Whitman hints that Gaethje is preparing to show a different side of his game when he potentially faces Paddy Pimblett, with particular emphasis on his ground game. Whitman explains they're not approaching this as a striking-only fight, which might surprise fans given Gaethje's reputation. He emphasizes the volume of intensive work Gaethje has put into refining his wrestling and grappling skills, areas where he's traditionally been underrated. From Whitman's perspective, the focus is on being proactive and aggressive from the start, rather than reactive. This means actively utilizing Justin's improved control and heavy ground and pound as primary weapons instead of just trying to survive exchanges or scramble back to his feet.
Whatever Paddy's saying is like, whatever he's dreaming and thinking, you know, all power to him. We're ready for everything, and we did not go into this fight thinking it's going to be just a striking fight at all. Like, Justin has spent so much time. That's probably the proudest thing I am with Justin, is the amount of time that he's put into his grappling, because his wrestling is so high level. But it's more of the offensive and positional type of fighting. You know, for so long, I remember when we got stopped by Oliveira, and I had to have a conversation with everybody on the team, like, hey, Justin is a high level guy, one of the best scramblers out there. You have some of the best slams out there, the Rampage Jackson type of slams. We're offensive. Justin's style is offensive, and to be a champion, you push people back. You have to put people on their heels. I look at this as when we had the Oliveira fight, we were defensive. We were like, don't get in this position. How do you get out of this position? You can't win fights like that. And you have to win offensively.
Trevor Whitman goes into even more detail about grappling with Gaethje and the unique dangers it presents once fights hit the mat. He highlights how Gaethje's top control and devastating ground and pound stand out because of their raw power, intelligent angles, and relentless pressure that makes it difficult for opponents to settle or find comfortable positions. While Whitman acknowledges that Paddy Pimblett has genuine skill at pulling fights to the ground, he subtly downplays Paddy's wrestling prowess. Whitman doesn't see Paddy consistently being able to take Gaethje down or maintain control in grappling exchanges, implying that Gaethje's defensive grappling and strength would prove too much.
Justin's one of those guys that when you grapple with him, his ground and pound is so unique. So unique. He hits people with punches at different angles on the ground that are so effective. And it's top game. Like, how do you know your top game, and how do you know that? Like, Paddy, I think, is very good when it comes to you know, dragging people to the floor. I don't think Paddy's a great wrestler. You know, I don't think he's going to go out there and take Justin down. Obviously, he can slip on the mats. He can time something really good where the hips are up. But I don't see Paddy taking him down.
Paddy Pimblett is absolutely confident as he looks ahead to a potential clash with Justin Gaethje, insisting that if this fight happens, it won't go the distance. He's realistic about Gaethje's legendary power and threat, but claims he sees clear, exploitable openings in Gaethje's game that he can capitalize on. He's painting himself as the fighter more likely to secure a decisive highlight reel finish rather than leaving the outcome to judges. The question becomes how exactly he envisions getting this potential win done and what his secret weapon might be.
I think I finish him wherever the fight goes, to be honest. Obviously, I know we can bang, but every fight we get a breakdown made of our opponent, and it actually shocks me how much he gets hit. And I know he takes one to give one, but you can't really just do that at this level. That's why he's lost to people like Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, Charles, because you can't just take one to give one. And I'm not going to just be standing there to let him hit me back. You know what I mean? So, be using me range, keeping him on the outside, and I've got a feeling I'm going to knock him out, to be honest. I don't know what it is. I've just got a sneaky suspicion I'm going to knock him out. You know, I've been doing a lot of rounds with Luke Riley for this camp, and Luke's got much better technical striking than Justin Gaethje. and I'm having a lot of success sparring with Luke. And obviously, one of my coaches, Ellis, who used to fight himself, he's the exact same build as Justin. He's 5'10" with a 70-inch reach, and I've been doing rounds with him. He's literally, because he doesn't fight anymore, lad, and he's just a coach. He's just done Justin's style for me. He hasn't got his own style. He's been doing Justin for me, and just the bits what we're working, I can see me knocking him out or dropping him and then submitting him. People are going on about his takedown defense, but if I want to take him down, I will take him down, lad. Simple as.
Paddy Pimblett is dropping a bombshell claim that his own teammate Luke Riley is actually a more complete striker than Justin Gaethje himself. He backs this up by pointing to Riley's combination of speed, power, and technical skill, highlighting that Luke has been training Muay Thai since he was 8 years old. That's long before Gaethje began his wrestling career, let alone focused on striking. This isn't casual trash talk, but a pointed statement from Paddy about the striking pedigree and depth within his fight team, suggesting they have fundamental skills that even a top-tier striker like Gaethje might lack.
Like me at all. So the fact that I've got Ellis playing Justin Gaethje for me, and then I've got Luke, who's a better, faster, more powerful technical striker than him, I think it all goes into my favour.
You got Luke Riley above Justin. You're rating him above Justin Gaethje in the striking department already in his career, you reckon?
Yeah. Luke Riley's been fighting Thai in Thailand since he was 8 years old, lad. You know what I mean? When Justin Gaethje was wrestling, lad, Luke was fighting Thai and then doing amateur boxing, and Luke's striking is a class above.
Trevor Whitman frames UFC 304 as a defining career moment for Justin Gaethje, suggesting this represents his final decisive push toward capturing the UFC title. Whitman makes it clear the goal for Gaethje isn't to linger around for money fights or become a stepping stone for the next generation of contenders. The focus is singular and intense, making one last serious run at championship glory. From Whitman's perspective, the emphasis is on giving everything and leaving nothing in the tank during this phase of his career, while remaining mindful of Gaethje's long-term health and responsibilities outside the cage as a family man.
I'm not afraid to speak it out loud. Like, this is our last run. Like, Justin's not. If we don't win this fight, we're not going on. Like, we're not going to go out there and be a gatekeeper and look at money fights and shit like that. It's he's a goal setter, and his mentality, just like he finished up. I don't know if you watched that video. Might as well go watch it if you haven't. We're in his house and the family's having a dinner, and I have that true talk, and I'm talking to his family. I'm not talking to him. And it's the way he ends it. He's like, "It's not over, coach." So that's the key to Justin. Justin is very unique. He would fight over and over and over, but he knows he's got to be there for the family. He's got to be smart and take care of his health. And but we win this belt. My shoot to the moon type of goal would be, let's go out there and repeat defenses. Obviously, this is an interim title fight, so we're not the champ yet, so we'd have to go win that belt next.
Moving into some exciting predictions, Michael Chandler believes Justin Gaethje holds a significant advantage over Paddy Pimblett. Chandler praises Pimblett's skill and exciting style, but still views Gaethje as the more complete and well-rounded fighter overall. Chandler doesn't stop there though, making a bold prediction that he believes Gaethje possesses what it takes to beat Ilia Topuria later this year, should that fight materialize. This prediction underscored Chandler's confidence in Gaethje's comprehensive abilities and potential to dominate at the highest levels of the sport, not just in this matchup, but beyond.
Oh man, more skilled, more experienced, I think better fighter all around, Justin Gaethje. But I also have been on record and said that Paddy Pimblett is better than a lot of people think he is. Because of his, his haircut and the way he talks and some of the, the strength of schedule. People don't give him a lot of credit, but when I fought him in April in Miami, I'm not going to say that I was surprised, because I was expecting the best version of Paddy, but he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. He's got long reach, good kicks, pretty darn patient and composed in there. But Gaethje's a whole different animal. So if I had to bet, which I can't, but if I had to lean one direction, I'd go Justin Gaethje, interim champion, and then he beats Ilia Topuria later on this year.
Bringing in a legend of the sport, Chuck Liddell has weighed in on the potential fight between Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje. Liddell suggests Pimblett might be facing an incredibly tough test in this matchup, a true litmus test for his rising career. While staying clear of matchmaking politics, Liddell finds the matchup exciting and admits he has immense respect for both fighters and their skill sets. He even hints that Gaethje could pull off a decisive finish in this bout, which only builds more anticipation for what promises to be a thrilling fight.
People are upset that Paddy Pimblett's getting the title shot versus Gaethje instead of Armin. What's your take on that?
I don't know. I don't follow that too much, like that politics and that stuff. I mean, I don't know what makes it make sense. It'd be a good fight, and Armin, I think, have to find the winner.
So who do you got in that fight? Do you have Paddy or do you have Gaethje?
You know, I'd like to see. I like both guys, so it's an interesting fight. It'd be an interesting fight.
I always make you pick one. You got to pick one. You got Paddy. I'd
like to see Gaethje pull it off.
You want to get the
So I think Paddy's incoming.
That wraps up today's breakdown of all the latest MMA drama and developments. We covered everything from heated social media wars and controversial comments to bold predictions and strategic insights from top coaches. What do you think about all this explosive drama and these potential matchups? Share your predictions and opinions in the comments below. If you found this breakdown engaging, show your support by hitting that like button and subscribe so you never miss our next deep dive into combat sports.